Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, representing the squad today, and I'm going over one of my experiments. It is Invoked Spellbooks, or more or less Invoked Prophecy. I do enjoy both engines. I find that they have strengths that kind of impact the weaknesses that each and other engine has. They replicate a similar playstyle, which is kind of just basically generating advantage and incremental value through 1 and 2 card combos, consistently generating pluses and providing board control even earlier on as turn 1, which is really strong. I find that the decks, the two engines complement each other very well, and it's just something that I'm testing out kind of for fun right now, but I found out some really cool combos with it and how it can really do some damage if given the chance to, actually, go to a regionals, for example. So let's go ahead and hop into the main deck. So starting up, I'm playing 3 High Priestess of Prophecy. I feel like this card is still insane. It's really good. It provides a in-between. She fills a lot of category niches as well, but she provides an in-between play if they outage your Mechaba, or if you're struggling and you're kind of losing, she provides pressure, which allows you to put damage on board and also at the same time breaking boards as well. You can complement her with the Wisdom to make her unaffected by spells in the Sky Striker matchup, or to make her unaffected by traps in the Altergeist matchup, which is really good. It helps you out a lot in those particular matchups. She's a free summon. Her effect is not hard once per turn. You can summon her by other means. She's just overall just like a really, really good card. I like High Priestess a lot. Like, she helps. And when you power her up twice, she's at 45. That's doing a lot of damage. So she really helps you to, OTK when you're given the chance to. We do play 3 Alistair because we are playing Invoked Prophecies. Alistair is a spellcaster as well, so he complements some of the spellbook cards that were required for you to have a spellcaster. And also at the same time, like, he's just insane. You can live off of 1. You don't even need the other 2, but you play 3 because you need to see it. And then there's that chance you have to discard it to boost the fusion. You need the others. So it's really good. It's an insane card. In tandem with that, we do play the Sexy Blue Boys. Blue Boy helps out a lot because he's just 3 extra of any cards you need. The only normal summon is really going to be Alistair, and if it's not Alistair, or if you already have an established Mechaba, there's no reason to normal another Alistair. You could just normal your Blue Boy, start kickstarting your Spellbook engine, load up your grave for your Fate, cycle and search the outs that you need or the protection that you need. He's a really good card, and him being level 2 is going to be extremely important when I explain to you guys a play that I came up with later on in the video. And finally, to sum up monsters, I am playing 2 Jowgins because Jowgin is really good this format. You can actually protect him very well with this deck. Even when you're able to pitch an Alistair from hand with Invocation to make your Mechaba, you can then just normal summon the Jowgin. Or when you've resolved your Scapegoat and you can get the double summon from Goblin, you can establish easily. Just through a Scapegoat and Terraforming, you can set up really well. You can normal the Alistair, set up your fusion, and then normal the Jowgin. He does outboards going second if given the chance to resolve. You can just discard and destroy all special summon monsters on the field. He's a walking floodgate. He's a spellcaster. You can protect him with Fate, with Wisdom. You can power boost him. He's just really good. And he's a light for your Mechaba. So no reason to not play him, in my opinion. So that's it for your monsters. You played 11 monsters. Sorry, guys. There was like a fly in my face. I was trying to kill it. And then for spells, we played 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. I feel like I had the cards like way over here. Like, I'm sorry, you guys. But yeah, 3 of the hot sauce is going to be searching your Alistair, protects your fusions from being negated. It is hard once per turn, but it's worth playing a 3 because you need to see that guy. And then we do play 2 La Grande Tour Libre de Magi. It's the field spell for the prophecies. It allows you to generate an extra draw every turn, while simultaneously putting your spellbooks back into your deck, so it recycles anything that you need. And you draw 2 for turn. After you've resolved the Nightmares off of the Scapegoat, you could potentially draw 4 to 5 cards, 2 to 3 off of the Unicorn, and then 1 more on your standby off of this because it shuffles in standby and draws another. So it's really good. It's a solid card. And then in tandem with that, I do play 3 Optimus Prime to search out the field spells. And then I play 3 Secrets to start up your engine. It searches anything, just like Blue Boy does. This is like Blue Boy without normal summoning. It's really good. I do play 2 Knowledge. Knowledge is not really that needed at 3 in this deck because You can recycle it, and you can copy its effect with Masters, and you can add it from your banner stone to your hand with Eternity. There's a lot of ways that you can get it back, so you don't really need 3. And also, there's too many ways to search it, so 2 is really perfect for me. And it's the +1 that you need. You can go plus really heavy in this deck. Then we have 2 copies of Master. Master breaks the rules. Any card that says you can only activate it once per turn, you can use its effect again with Master. So you can Secrets twice, Knowledge draw 4, Eternity fetch 2 cards. Master is really good. It breaks the rules. I like this card a lot. Then we have 2 Eternities. Eternity is your infinite resource in the grind games. You loot this, you just activate it, you add a banished spellbook, you put it back with Tower, and you have access infinitely to your engine no matter what happens. And then the rest of the spells, these all kind of just cycle through your deck, add you cards to your hand. These next spells are going to be reactive cards that kind of allow you to play on your opponent's turn, and also at the same time in correlation play through board. So we have 2 Spellbook of Fates. Fate has 3 effects. It can bounce a spell or trap, Book of Moon a monster, or banish a card on the field. That effect does not target, which is really good. So if a monster can be targeted or destroyed, you can still Fate. So even the full Nightmare board that says, this can be destroyed by battle, this can be targeted, this can be destroyed by card effect, you can out that board. You just bait the Trigate with like an Alistair, for example, and you just flip this. You chain this to the Trigate if they're trying to negate the Alistair. You banish the Trigate, and now everything that was co-linked, those 3 monsters are no longer. So the board is really subpar at that point. Everything's losing 1,000 attack. Now it's really easy to proceed after that. So it helps going second, and it protects your Dragon as well. It's flexible. You can use it on a lot of different things. Altergeist bounce their back rows. It's just really good. During the end phase, when multi-roll attempts to resolve, you can chain this and bounce it to hand. There's just like, I'm sorry, you cannot do that. I take that back. I think the Spell or Trap has to be set. Yeah, it has to be set, but never mind. Take that back. But it's a really flexible spell. It does, so many different things. You can even use it to help yourself instead of harm your opponent, which makes it dual utility. It's a very good spell. Then we play 2 Wisdom. You can make your Priestess unaffected by spells or traps, like I said, just to help her to make sure that she does resolve and pop so that you don't get hit with a strike or a protocol. And the smart thing to do is to kind of activate it preemptively first. On summon, if they don't respond, you just flip this. Or if they respond with a Torrential, you flip this. And then after that, you activate her effect. You don't wait for them to respond and then chain this, because if they're flipping a strike, the Priestess has to go, because this cannot respond to that spell speed. So it's really important to kind of shotgun this card sometimes. But Wisdom helps. And then we play 2 Forbidden Chalice, 2 Forbidden Dreads, and we're bringing back some nostalgia, 2 copies of My Body as a Shield. So these pairs of 2-ofs are all reactive spells that can be used to either protect me or to even stop my opponent from going off, which is really good. So they're very, very versatile in what they can do. You can even My Body on your own opponent if they're using a card effect that would destroy their own monsters to benefit themselves. Even if, for example, a Diagram is popping a baby on the field, you can flip this. It just for example, I don't know, like I'm just making up scenarios, but I'm just trying to say that you don't have to use this on your, for yourself. You can use it to stop your opponent from going off. If given the opportunity, this can even negate Sleeper. What you can do is you can, if Sleeper's trying to go off, once he designate targets, you can chain Fate to banish the, what's his name, what's it called? Matter of fact, forget chaining Fate to banish that. You could just chain Fate to banish him if you have the Fate. But if not, you can chain this to negate Sleeper. And even though he won't be able to be destroyed, he will not destroy your cards in return. So you can continue doing what you're doing. And once you make the Mega Blood can negate and banish him. I don't even know why I was going to say that. I forget that Fate out Sleeper too. It just banishes him. They can't use the trap to add him back and summon him. He's just out of the game. So Fate is really good in this deck. And it just adds to the arsenal. So you have, your pairs of reactive spells, which help you. When you're setting back rows, these are going to be the back rows. People assume that you set bluffs when you're playing Prophecies, but you're set really good spells. And then to finally end with the pairs of 2-ofs, we play 2 Scapegoats. Because it is another win condition. It allows you to draw extra cards with the Nightmares that you can make. And it kind of progresses the tempo of your playstyle to allow you to be more aggressive than, this deck is. This is not a very assertive deck. It's kind of just control, reaction. It's a reactive control deck. It's kind of like how Sky Strikers are. But, it's just a different not a different play style. It's just a different arsenal. Sky Striker cards have, you know, their own kind of arsenal, their own way of doing things, but both decks kind of do the same thing. They slowly plow through the opponent in terms of sheer card economy, forcing your opponent to kind of neg while you're gaining more and more advantage over them. For the 1-ofs, we have 1 power, which is insane. Boost your spellcaster by 1,000. Run over a monster and search. You can stack it with power. With master, you can make a priestess up to 4,500, or even make an Alistair, you know, a 3,000 beater, 2,000 with this, and then the other 1,000 with the master. You know, you just make your stuff beaters to help you to get over things. And then one of my favorite 1-ofs is actually Life. I love Life. I loot this 4 to 5 times every duel. There's a really cool combo I'll show you at the end. And it's like in the middle of your setup that you use it, but Life is really good in this deck. It's just an insane 1-of. I love it a lot. And then finally for the 1-ofs, we play 1 Invocation. It is a necessity for the Invoked engine. Now for our extra deck, we do play 2 Medieval Mikeys. I wish I had the 3rd. I sold the 3rd to get a card that I can no longer play because of the ban list, so I'm really upset about that. I wish I would have just kept my 3rd. Then we have Invoked Raijin, Book of Moon on legs. We have Kaliga, one of my favorites. I love the Kaliga Jalgin lock because it basically is like you really can't do much at all. You're under such restrictions. It's a really strong lock. Purgatrio, you can just use your Scapegoat to get the attribute that you need, or you could just use your opponent's Ash Blossom. And then we have Casitas, Blue Boys of Water, so that helps for you to easily access this. The cool thing is this card can't be destroyed, and it can be targeted, so Widow Anchor can't take control of it or negate it, and Afterburner can't destroy it. So Sky Strikers really have to try to attack over this, but the issue with that is there's an Alistair. There's always going to be an Alistair to put this at 3,900 defense or even 4,900 if necessary. Aside from Sky Strikers having trouble getting over this card, believe it or not, Spirals can have a difficult time as well. Really, they're only out in their main arsenal is to go into Borlo Dragon, which requires excess resources. And let's just be real, if the Spirals go off with their combo, the resources to make the Borlo are no longer accessible if they've utilized those already. So it really helps. Tough or Sleeper cannot get over this card. Beating over it is really not going to be ideal because you can boost it. So it's just a good card in general. If you're already up in life points and you're already winning, you can kind of just wall up with cards like this, cards like Jalgin. Use your back rows to your maximum potential, and make sure that your opponent cannot, you know, attack you directly, basically. Then we have some links. We have Skuldred. If you really need to get more draw power, you just make this off of the Scapegoat. Use his ability to special summon a High Priestess from your hand, or even special summon a Jalgin, which puts them under the lock, and it helps. And then we have some Nightmare cards, of course. We have only the Unicorn, the Goblin, the Phoenix, and the Cerberus. The reason why I decided to even play the Goblin was not only does it provide the targeting protection, but it also gives me that extra normal so I can go into, you know, Alistair and then Jalgin, or Alistair and then Blue Boy, or Blue Boy and then Jalgin. No matter what, I want to get an effective search off a normal and then end on a Jalgin. And the extra normal to just normal summon Jalgin really helps, so that's why he's there. You can actually set up the full Nightmare board and, you know, draw 3 to 4 for turn, draw the extra card off of your field spell, and every turn you're adding 5 cards to your hand. So if you have 0 cards in hand, you can still come back and start winning. This card's insane. Well, the Unicorn's insane. And then we play Mrs. Radiant, we play Link Spider, 1 Link Karibo. I sold Link Karibo and my Blue Eyes today so I can pay rent. Sorry guys, you won't be seeing Blue Eyes for a while because I'm not going to be able to pick it up at the moment. I've kind of just been doing a lot of stuff. You know, life happens. I have to pay all my bills. I don't live with my parents or anything. So I kind of have to, you know, make sure that I'm good. And then the final monster in my extra deck is True King of all Chlamydia. Now, most will look at this and think, well, theoretically, I guess you can overlay 2 Macabas to make this card. No. You're not going to be making this card that way. I'll show you guys how you make Calamities. Every one of my decks always has something that makes them unique, and this is one of the things that makes this deck unique is the fact that it can make Calamities. I feel that any deck that can make Calamities has a chance to win against any deck, because there's really no deck outside of what used to be a Masterpiece deck that could like stop Calamities, but now with Masterpiece off the picture, there's like no deck that goes unanswered by this card. Like, so it's really cool how you do it. So I've done it like, you know, in the middle of combos. What you do is you use your Alistair to make a Makaba, and you pitch, if you have High Priestess in your hand, or if you already have one engraved, it's better, but you pitch the High Priestess to make the Macabre, and what you do is you activate life and you banish your blue boy. You banish blue boy from the graveyard, and you reveal a spellbook card in your hand, of course. So you have to, you know, there's a requirement and a setup for Spellbook of Life. But ultimately, what you end up doing is you make Macabre, you activate Spellbook of Light, you banish Blue Boy and summon High Priestess, and her level is increased by 2 because of Blue Boy, so she goes from a level 7 to a level 9. You use her effect, you pop a card, you attack with both of these, and in main phase 2, you go into Calamities. And that is how you make Calamities in this deck, and that is why I play them. It even came up after I've done that I can make another Calamities by doing the same exact thing, because like I said, you loop life. It's a Monster Reborn. It's a really good card. It's a weird restriction on how you summon. You have to banish the Spellbook. I mean, you have to banish the Spellcaster. You have to reveal a Spellbook. You know, you have to fulfill the cost. But when you think of how this deck works, you're always going to have a Spellcaster engraved, and you're always going to have Spellbooks in hand. So it's really not that hard. And that concludes the deck profile, you guys. I'm playing this pure without hand traps. Instead of hand traps, I chose to play, you know, these spells. Well, not the Fates, they're part of the arsenal. But I feel like these spells do give me a competitive edge over other decks, because most decks aren't running cards like these. These allow you to be a lot more interactive, the ability to kind of stop plays from going through, and also they just catch people off guard. You expect the scapegoat sometimes, especially like if they see, oh, this guy's playing Invoked, he probably has a scapegoat. But the prophecies kind of like throw it off, you know, kind of make it look like, well, I don't really know what the back rows are now. I just assume there's a Spellbook of Fate if you know how prophecies work. But when you have Fate and then this and like Scapegoat, you have a lot of protection in addition to the Macabre that you have. So you kind of playing Protect the Castle for turn 1, and then turns 2, 3, and then beyond, you're really doing damage. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. I love y'all, and y'all have a beautiful night. I'm going to go to sleep. Peace.